Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 7 of Cute Little Love Letters, and this one is titled A Chance Meeting. Do with it what you will, Kendo said with a knowing smirk on her face. Like I said, the ball is in your court. Just then the bell for the next lesson rang, and your conversation with Kendo was cut short, leaving you with lots on your mind. That afternoon, walking to the flower shop by yourself, you thought about some things that you could do. I could walk up to him and say hi, you thought as you walked, but even just the thought of that had your heart doing flips and your mind screeching at the top of its lungs. How would I even do that? You cried internally. Sure, I could muster the courage to say hello to him, but then I would totally freeze up and I wouldn't be able to speak after that. You sighed with frustration and then looked up at the flower shop as it loomed ahead. I don't even know if I could ask Olyx for advice because they're super outgoing, you thought as you pushed the door open. The little bell above the door tinkled and the fresh scent of flowers graced your nostrils as you stepped in, the green foliage melting your anxieties away at being in nature aligned your soul. Hi, Mr. Sadatori, you said softly when you saw the grey-haired man. He jumped violently and spun around, the terror in his eyes subsiding when he saw it was you who had spoken to him. Oh, it's you, Yin. You scared me, he stammered nervously. I was working late last night, you see, and, I'm a little tired. My mind is playing tricks on me. Are you okay, Mr. Sadatori? You asked with concern. Quite all right, he said sheepishly. I'll be just fine. Would you please go and help Olyx with the petunias today? They need a good watering since they just got replanted yesterday. Yes, I can do that, you said with a smile and a nod, and then headed out the back to the greenhouse. You stepped in and looked around for your cheeky little friend. Olyx, you called. There was silence. Olyx, you here? You asked again, and all of a sudden this wet being suddenly appeared to your right, wrapping their arms around you with a wet kiss to your cheek. Gotcha! A sneaky voice called. Olyx, what? You asked in surprise when they let you go. You're all wet. I've been dancing with the lady beetles under the petunia leaves while it was raining water, they said brightly, ruffling the water out of their short hair. Did you assume your Sprite form again? You asked as you wiped down the side of your face. Yes, but Mr. Sadatori is so busy in the flower shop, he wouldn't have come out. Plus, he's scared of this place now. Olyx chuckled. You're not worried about him catching you in Sprite form? You asked, knowing that your half-face status and Olyx's quarter Sprite heritage were still unknown to Mr. Sadatori. Even if he did see me, he's seen so many odd things in here he'd think I was a firefly or a dragonfly or something, Olyx said with a grin. The Roses danced for him last night, but all he could do was scream. You're so mean, you giggled. Come and dance with me, they implored. I'd love to see you in fairy form dancing, just for a little bit. It's so lovely to dance in the rain. I'm not so sure, you hummed nervously, glancing at the greenhouse door. Just for a second, they begged, grabbing onto your hand and tugging on it lightly with bright yellow eyes pleading up at yours. Okay, you finally sung in resignation. But just for a little bit. Olyx whooped for joy and you were whisked off down to the back of the greenhouse to where the petunias were, and both of you assumed your mythical forms at the same time, flying the rest of the way to the flowers and then in under them and giggling as the drips of water from the overhanging hose rained down on you both. It's cold! You shrieked. Olyx laughed, doing cartwheels and handstands as you dodged some of the drips. After frolicking for a little bit, you both assumed your human form again and set to work getting the petunias properly cared for and set for sale. As you worked, you fell silent, thinking about Denki again and how you were going to approach him. Hey, Olyx said suddenly, catching your attention. You're very quiet. What's up? It's not like you to be this quiet. Oh, you said, looking at them. Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. What are you thinking about? Olyx asked as they placed a potted petunia on their head and balanced it there. Well, there's someone I want to talk to, but I'm really shy to talk to them, you said vaguely. Just walk up and say hi, Olyx said, still with pot plant on their head. Easy for you to say, you aren't afraid of anyone, you said with a slightly wrinkled nose. Why are you afraid of them? Olyx asked, taking the potted petunia off their head and sniffing at the flower. Well, you hummed thoughtfully, I just think they're really good looking and it stops my brain from thinking about anything else. Then close your eyes when you talk to them, Olyx offered. You giggled at Olyx's comment. Sure, you chuckled. The conversation moved on from there, and you were kind of grateful for that. Olyx was lovely, but they just didn't know what you were going through, so you thought it best to come up with a solution on your own. The next day at school, you walked to your locker and opened it, putting your stuff in before getting your books out and closing it, but before you could walk off, Kendo had caught you. "Hey, good morning, Yin," she said brightly as she approached you. "Did you sleep well last night? You look well, but come to think of it, you always look well." "Yes, I slept well. What about you?" you asked her, walking with her as you headed down the hall to first class. "Hey!" you heard a loud voice up ahead call out, making you look up to see who it was. "Oh no," you heard Kendo say from beside you as she looked up as well. Up ahead, Monoma had cornered some of the Class 1A boys and was looking for a fight. "Thought you'd be too good to walk these halls with the commoners," he said loudly with a grand gesture, arching back a little. "Huh?" the blonde he was addressing barked back. "Bakugo, calm down," you heard the redhead standing slightly behind him say, and suddenly you realised who the trio were that was standing in front of you. Bakugo, Kurishima, and Denki, hanging back a little with a concerned look on his face, but it actually looked like he was more concerned for Monoma than Bakugo at that point. "Excuse me for a second," Kendo said as she stepped forwards, a little faster, and then activated her quirk and knocked Monoma over, knocking him out the second her giant fist hit him. "Boys, I'm sorry," she said apologetically to the three boys who were standing there in various degrees of shock as she walked over and grabbed onto the back of the passed-out Monoma's shirt. Bakugo looked like he had been ready to throw hands, but the other two looked grateful for her interception. You had kept your eyes on Denki the whole time, unable to look away, and you weren't sure if he felt you staring at him, or if it was just a coincidence, but suddenly his gaze met yours, and you quickly looked down. "Oh, hey!" Denki said excitedly. "Thank you so much, Kendo," Kiri said to your red-headed friend. "There could have been a messy fight here if you hadn't stepped in." "Hey, Denki said again, making to step forwards to come and talk to you. But you jammed your eyes tightly shut and just froze on the spot. "Oi, where you going?" Bakugo grunted, grabbing Denki roughly by the shirt and pulling him back. "We got class." "No, wait! No, I want to talk to her!" Denki begged, pointing at you. "I've met her before. Hey, nice day, isn't it?" he called, his voice getting more and more distant as he got dragged away by his classmate. "You can open your eyes now," you heard Kendo say softly, and slowly you opened your eyes and blinked a few times before looking up into her smiling face. "You okay? You froze up real bad," she said sympathetically. "See," you said sadly, "I've got lapis lazuli and aquamarine on me, but I still can't gather the courage to speak to him." "Give it some time," she said with a chuckle as she patted you on the shoulder, her other hand tightly gripped onto the back of the still passed out Monoma's shirt. "For now, we need to get this wreck to class." Denki, the poor Denkster, stay tuned for Chapter 8 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.